Tennessee has lost a beloved and respected former state senator. Longtime state lawmaker Ben Atchley died last night. He served in the state house for 4 years in the 1970s and then in the state senate from 1977 until 2004. For decades, the Republican was known as Gentle Ben because of his kind and diplomatic style. Throughout the day, kind words have poured in from longtime friends and colleagues.
He was known as a man of his word, a man who wanted to solve problems, a man who would work with people of different points of view, a person who was persuasive, very civil, and very dedicated to making sure that Knox County was well represented.
That was former mayor and ambassador to Poland, Victor Ashe. Governor Bill Haslam said in a tweet, Ben was a great public servant who truly only wanted what was best for his community and Tennessee. Ben Atchley was 88 years old. A graveside service is set for Sunday afternoon at New Prospect Presbyterian Church Cemetery in South Knoxville. Following that service, the family will receive friends at Greystone Presbyterian Church on Woodlawn Pike from 2:30 until 4 in the afternoon. A celebration of life will follow.